in New Orleans with a true NBA legend, a man who was in one of the greatest Nike posters of all time, a man who was one of the greatest scorers I've ever seen in my life, a man who invented the 12-foot finger roll. And I didn't know this until last year, but apparently, according to none other than Magic Johnson, the greatest pickup basketball player of all time, George Gervin. So we were doing countdown last year, and we're shooting the crap because you're killing time during these games. And we start talking about pickup. Ask Magic who the best pickup basketball player he ever saw, and he goes, "Oh, Ice." And we were like, well, who else? He's like, Ice. There's nobody else. So we were like, if you could pick one guy for a pickup game and your life depended on it, who'd you pick? He's like, Ice. So I'm starting there. You were the greatest pickup basketball player of all time. Do you agree with that?
Well, I had fun when I played pickup. I mean, that's where you can really, have a chance to really showcase your skills. Coming up from Detroit and playing on the streets all the time.
Right.
I had an opportunity to do some things that maybe you wouldn't try in a different setting.
Like what?
A whole lot of things. You can try things. One thing that I like to do is, I was known for the finger roll.
Yep.
But what I really thought I could do was shoot the jump shot. Be able to create space and get the jumper off. And I think a lot of that comes from being able to use both hands and be able to go in both directions. Some guys got a favorite side to go to shoot. You
didn't have a favorite side. Your favorite side was the court.
Yeah, my favorite side was the court, and I had a lot of confidence in that because I worked on that in the street ball setting. So
Magic said he went to see you one time playing pickup, and I think he was with Isaiah, and it might have been even after his rookie year. I can't remember what year it was. And you were playing pickup, and back then you guys would arrange to play in these different gyms, right?
Yes.
And it was like you were on cruise control in the first half, but somebody made you mad at the end of the half, and then he said you had like 52 in the second half or something.
Oh, okay.
And it was like one of the great moments.
Kevin Loader, I remember that.
Oh, you remember that?
Oh,
one?
I remember the guy.
Who made you mad? What happened?
Kevin Loader.
What did he say?
We was playing, and we were just playing around, and we was in Lansing, matter of fact, and he was a rookie just coming in, and we first half and stuff, I wasn't really into it, and then he came up to me and told my man, I slowed Ice down.
Oh, you don't say that.
Oh man, everybody looked at him, Magic, and Isaiah and them looked at him and say, uh-oh. And I say, hey, man, what's your name? And he said, Kevin Loader. I was eating orange, man. I never forget it, man. I was eating orange and stuff. And I say, oh, okay. Man, I lit him up, man. I tell you, man, I think I messed his career up. Because he didn't stay in the league long.
That was it for Kevin Loader.
Yeah, that was it for him.
So Magic said you guys would arrange to play all these pickup games in all these different spots. And it was like kind of his generation against your dudes. So who were your dudes?
Oh, wow. Back in them days, we used to play with Daryl Dawkins used to play. What we used to do is we used to, travel around in the summertime and we go to all the cities that NBA teams wasn't in. And we used to go and play in these
like a barnstorming almost.
Hey, we go in these NBA in these cities that NBA teams wasn't in. Birmingham,
At least you go south.
Yeah, we'd go everywhere, man. I mean,
so who organized this? Like, how did you decide where to go?
Charles Tucker was probably Magic's agent early on.
Yeah.
And he was real close to all of us coming up. I used to come up there and play at Michigan State when Magic was real young. Magic was probably 14 years old when I met him. And
really?
And he played with us. So he was playing with the pros. At 14.
And you knew?
Oh man, he was special then.
Well, he's probably smart enough to get you the ball in the spot.
Well, I mean, he's smart enough to get a whole lot of people the ball.
Right.
I mean, that what made him Magic. He understood how to win. He was all about winning. He made people around him better. He made people around him better at 14. So his potential was scary, and I think he reached his full potential and having a super career he had, as an NBA player.
So we argued one time when we were doing the show about what state produced the best players, and it turned into a really heated Michigan versus New York argument. And Magic and Jalen, who's there, who's obviously Michigan too, and we're rattling off all-time teams. Michigan was really, really much more impressive than I realized. Like, for instance, I mean, I knew you went to the University of Detroit, but I never kind of considered you belonging to a state. But you were like the all-time Detroit guy.
Yeah, well,
because you kind of transcended that and just became Iceman and
all
did
them
the
guys,
whole thing.
All them guys come under me, you know.
Yeah, you were like the godfather.
Magic, Steve Smith, you know, all them guys was.
Jalen and C. Webb.
Yeah, all them guys come up under me, and you can tell how they talk about me today, how they admire, you know, my being the veteran.
So then you went from there. You signed with Virginia.
Virginia Squires. You know,
Doc's there, but you're young.
Well, I went to the CBA first. I left school early, and I went to the CBA.
They had the CBA back then?
Pontiac Chaparrals. You know, just played on the weekends. And I probably averaged about 38, and Johnny Red Kerr saw me. For some reason, Johnny Red Kerr was up in Pontiac and watching me play, and I scored 50. He called Earl Foreman, who was the Virginia Squires, you know, where Doc was at, and said, you got to see this kid. They flew me in to Virginia and just had me shoot around. So I could shoot. So I made 25 out of 30 threes. He signed me on the spot. And
you were like 6'8", 100 pounds.
Well, 185, you know.
Well, no, you were super skinny that ABA year.
I was super skinny my whole career.
But you were really skinny that first ABA year.
I can get through the little cracks. I mean, so, yeah, you know. But, you know, I was what they say, wirily strong.
So you're 19.
19.
Doc's there. Doc's not quite Doc yet.
Well, not to you he wasn't, but to me he was.
No, but I mean, he wasn't the New York Nets MVP, all that. Well, he's kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, well, you know, you couldn't tell us that.
Right.
Because we were right there on the floor with him. You know, obviously, being in the ABA, we didn't have that national media exposure. But we all knew who the doctor was, you know, and, you know, having that opportunity to play with him, you know, as a rookie, gave me the confidence that I needed to excel in my own career. You know, me and Doc, you know, we used to practice, and then after practice, Doc used to come get me and say, hey, we're going one-on-one. So me and Doc, most practices, me and Doc played one-on-one after practice.
And so what would happen?
Doc operated.
No, but who would win?
Well, Doc operated.
Oh, Doc operated.
You caught on, huh? Yeah, Doc operated. I mean, but Doc gave me the confidence to where after a week or so, then the ice in me came out, you know, because, you know, I was probably a better jump shooter than Doc. Doc was more of a scorer. So, you know, once I understood what I was dealing with, you know, then the games got even.
Who else was on that Virginia team? Anybody else who made it or no?
See, it was George Gervin, George Gervin. Fatty Taylor was our point guard, Roland Taylor.
Great nickname.
Yeah,
Jumbo. Some good nicknames on that team. Yeah, Fatty Taylor, Ice, and Doc.
Oh yeah, you know, we had a good little club, man.
I was living in Boston growing up there. I got Celtics season tickets. My dad got them when I was like 4 or 5, but the ABA was like not even on TV.
Oh, no.
I didn't know. All I knew about the ABA was if Sports Illustrated ever wrote about it, or that annual book that came out, and the basketball cards.
Yeah, it was.
And that was it.
Yeah, it was unknown, you know, as far as nationally. But the cities that we went into, you know.
Everybody loved it.
Yeah, everybody loved us. I mean, we could play.
Because when the merger happened, I had no idea. Like, in my head, Doc could dunk from half court. You just didn't know. It was like the legends had built and built and built.
Yeah.
But
no, I think it changed the face of the NBA once we merged in '76.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you look at it, like, you had most of the fun guys in basketball in the ABA.
Well, we was younger.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot of older guys in the NBA at the time. You know, so the merger was perfect. And for us, not being recognized as really a professional basketball league that had that opportunity to merge and then become part of the NBA. I mean, we had a lot to prove.
Right.
You know,
and people didn't totally take your league seriously. They said you didn't play defense.
Well, they say a whole lot of things.
All these guys. And then you came in, you had like, what, 10 All-Stars the first year?
Oh, yeah, we dominated.
Yeah.
You know, our first year, I think we won 50-something games.
Yeah.
You know, in the league.
On the Spurs.
Yeah, on the Spurs. So it was, we had something to prove, you know, and we all knew it. We all knew we could play because we played against a lot of the NBA guys in the summertime.
Right.
So they all knew we belonged. You know, it was just about having that opportunity to get on that stage on the NBA market.
You feel like an ABA guy or an NBA guy?
I'm an ABA guy.
Yeah.
And
seems like everybody.
Any ABA guy that played to tell you, we're ABA guys.
Yeah.
You know, appreciate the league, appreciate the opportunity to, you know, be a part of, you know, nice NBA history.
Right. The Spurs, the worst thing that happened to you guys in the late 70s was James Silas got hurt.
Yeah.
And you guys were the best backcourt in either league.
He hurt his knee, man.
What was his game like? Because I just didn't see enough tape on him. I know he was a great all-around player, but what did he do?
Last second.
Oh, it was clutch.
It was clutch. You know, last second, I'll give him the ball. I'll give him the ball for two reasons. Because he can back any smaller guard down and shoot over him, or he going to get fouled, and he don't miss free throws.
Right.
You know,
so what player would you compare him to? Is there anybody like him? Like current guys or semi-current?
Current guys? No,
anybody? Nobody?
Ain't no current guys like James.
He's physical, right?
Yeah, he was physical. You know, he was about 6 feet.
Yeah.
You know, he was real strong. I mean, I can't think of any other guy that had the same type of game he did.
Yeah, he seemed like pretty unique.
You know, I mean, he could play, man. I mean, I hate he got hurt. It really took away us really being able to show our dominance as, you know, a 1 and 2 guard.
And you guys had a legendary home court advantage at the time.
Oh, yeah. San Antonio, man.
I don't want to say the fans were mean, but I think teams were afraid to play there.
Well, we had a group called the Baseline Bums, and the Baseline Bums sat right over the visiting locker room. So the Baseline Bums, you know, gave it to any opposing team that came into the arena.
And then they would wait next to the bus, right? When the guys would go to their bus, and they would just yell stuff
Larry
at
Brown, and Larry, I know he remembered this. Larry Brown had his lime green sweater on, and Larry Brown had made a statement, you know, I don't like nothing about San Antonio, but it's guacamole soup.
That's a mistake.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
So Larry Brown went in the locker room with his lime sweater with a bunch of guacamole soup on it. They pulled it on him from upstairs.
Because some of these cities that just have one team, it's like the parents with the only child. And San Antonio's like that. I've probably written more positive stuff about San Antonio than anybody, and they all think that I hate their team and I'm against them. Meanwhile, like, I love Tim Duncan. Like, I ride with Tim Duncan.
Oh, he can play.
You know, and they're like, you don't like us, nobody, you know, but
well, you know, San Antonio, it never really got its due.
Right.
But they didn't ever care, you know, and it started with the leadership. With Popovich, he didn't care what nobody said because they always win. Right. You know, I mean, first franchise from the ABA to win the NBA title.
Yeah, true.
You know,
won 4 of them.
Ended up winning, you know, 4 of them. You know, you got them kind of guys, man, that, you know, we got a European team. You know, a lot of guys from, you know, different parts of the world. But Pop and RC, what they did is they fitted them in. They brought guys in to understand their role, you know, because he had his own theory on how he wanted to, you know, play the game, and he brought in the guys that fit into his mold.
Your best chance was 79?
My best
chance. The Bullets?
Yes.
3-1 lead?
Yes.
I'm doing this off the top of my head.
We made history backwards.
Blew the 3-1 lead.
Blew the 3-1 lead, man. We had them down, man. I mean,
I watched some of those games when I was doing my book.
Man, we had them guys down games. 12, man, in the 4th. But somehow, the lights went out in the building.
I don't remember this.
Well, the lights went out in the building.
In Landover?
In Landover.
Oh, so they're a little chicanery.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wish we had cell phones back then where we can do some video and then find out what happened, man. And the lights was out 12 minutes. with us having the momentum.
Mm.
And them guys, lights came back on, momentum changed.
So it was Game 7.
Game 7.
Wow.
Bobby Dandridge hit the...
Bobby Dandridge hit a big shot. Oh. He was tough, Bobby.
Oh, he's a bad boy.
I like Bobby Dandridge.
They don't talk enough about Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby flat out played. Bobby was the glue to me to that NBA Baltimore Bullets.
Yeah, yeah.
We talk about Wes Unseld and Alvin Hayes. They don't talk enough about Bobby D.
Yep.
You know.
Clutch, too.
Oh, man. Had that line drive jumper. You know, I mean, they can get it off.
Right.
I mean.
So what was the game that haunts you from that late 70s run? Do you have a game you still think about, the Game 7?
Yeah. I've been out. I think we could have won the championship there because we would have played Seattle. I thought we was much better than Seattle. You know, Dennis Johnson and Gus Williams was at the point. I really thought that we had a chance to win a championship, you know, for the Spurs early in the early 70s.
The real problem was that they were stupid. They put you in the East.
Yeah, well.
Why the heck was San Antonio in the East? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, you know, we ain't had nothing to do with that. So,
no, I know. You guys should have been in the West.
Well, we was in both.
I know. Then they finally flipped it.
We put it in the West, and then we had to run against Magic and them.
Right.
So couldn't, you know, we played them well. We felt we can beat them, especially since we got Artis Gilmore. We felt we can beat them.
Those what was that? 83.
83.
You went 6.
Went 6.
Those were some good games. I enjoyed those games.
They'll come in our place, beat us 2. We'll go up to L.A., beat them 2.
Artis and Kareem was kind of not a bad battle. Artis was so big. Kareem had some trouble.
Stan Auerbach was our coach at that time, and Stan was, you know, as creative as he was. Stan a brain, the first play of the game, okay, this is the design. First play of the game, he'll bring Artis all the way out to the three-point line and have Artis shoot the 3. That was always our first play of the game.
Really?
So that's how creative Stan was, you know. So, I mean, Artis made a lot of them, but, you know, if you go back and look, you probably catch me in the field. But since it's 2014, Artis made all of them.
So, different times back then. They're tape delaying finals games.
Oh, man.
National TV, probably 10, 12 games a year, something like that. So, 1978, John Havlicek's last game. I'm actually at John Havlicek's last game. And they used to, you know, during the breaks, they used to read the scores for whatever. And the guy said something. David Thompson went before you that day, right?
Yeah.
He said something like, David Thompson has 51 points or something. The game wasn't over. It was kind of did one of those. Not on TV, no league pass, no internet, no sports center, nothing. Just read the next day. It was like, oh yeah, David Thompson finished with 73, and then Ice had 63, and he won the scoring title. I was like, what? Wait, so you find out David Thompson had 73 points. You find out before your game, right?
Yes, yes. Because David and them play in Detroit.
Yep.
You know, my hometown. In the afternoon.
Which is, I forgot that he was in your hometown. That was like an extra little punch
Cobo.
to the stomach.
At the Cobo Hall.
How
where I
dare
played
he
my
does
high
that.
school championship games.
Did you ever score 73 there?
No. Not at the Cobo.
So now David Thompson laid the gauntlet down.
Yeah, oh yeah, he, you know, and for some reason we played in the evening time.
Right.
So the press called me up, they, you know, because I was leading the league at scoring at that time. It was the last game of the season, and they called me up. David scored 73. You know, you need 59 in order to regain the title.
And your teammates wanted it.
Coach wanted it.
Everyone wanted it.
Everybody wanted it. You know, got in the locker room, and Coach Moe, Doug Moe was my coach, and Doug said, hey guys, we want Ice to, we already in the playoffs. We want Ice to have a shot at getting the title. See, you know, that's that ABA bond.
Right.
You know what I mean? For the coach, you know, because Coach saying, look, man, we want Ice, and what y'all think? All the guys say, yeah, let's do it.
So who are you playing?
New Orleans, right here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right there at the Superdome.
Nice.
I pulled in yesterday and say, grandson, I swear, granddad got 63.
But you could add more than 63.
I got 63 in 33 minutes.
So you scored 51 in the first half?
I scored 53.
53 in the first half.
Yeah.
You had, I think, 33 in the second quarter?
Yes.
It's 33 in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So 53 at halftime, you get your 7, you get to 63. And then you're just like...
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, when I got 59, they say, Ice, you got 59. So I say, well, let me go and get a few more points just in case they miscalculated.
We get a couple more.
Just in case they, you know, they messed up on their addition. So I end up, you know, scoring, 33 in the second. Because David had scored 32 in the second.
So you took the quarter record, too.
Tied Wilps.
Right.
So then I scored 33. It was just my day, you know.
But do you have any regrets about just not staying in
you
and
know,
go for like
old.
80?
I'm old, so you always have regrets. You know, I mean, obviously, if I'm scoring 63 points in 33 minutes, how many minutes I got left to? So, you know, as hindsight, you know, what good is that? You know, I mean, so only thing you can do is use it as a tool to let these young guys playing today, you know, get it while you can.
Well, I was thinking Carmelo had 62 about 4 weeks ago, with 8 minutes left.
Yeah, Carmelo.
They took him out.
He tied my record, 33 and a quarter.
Right.
But
62.
we didn't have 3-pointers back when I played. When I got my 33.
Yeah,
So he got about 12 points of threes. So.
Do you have a 3-point shot?
No.
But you would have maybe had one if you had the line that you cared about,
right?
That's
the worst shot in basketball. I ain't like shooting bad shots. That's the worst shot in basketball. The best 3-point shooters shoot under 40% probably. Every now and then somebody will shoot 41, 42%.
So when it changed? Because you had it in the ABA.
Yeah, we had an ABA. But it didn't come in until after, what, 80?
NBAs, yeah. 80, 81 season, 79.
So when I got my first scoring title, we didn't have 3 points. You know, the only way you get 3 points is and one.
When I remember watching you play, you only would come to Boston like once a year. Yeah. So I probably saw you play 5, 6 times.
Yeah, I got a chance to play against JoJo and have a chance. You know what I mean? You know, which them guys was obviously somebody that I admired, you know, because of the history that they, you know, that they have. But one of the Hondo was always running around them picks, you know, driving you crazy. Always on the move.
Right.
He's shooting that quick jumper. So, you know, I got a chance to play against.
You were one of those guys, though. It never felt like you were getting hot. You just got your points every quarter. You get your 8 to 12 points each quarter.
Yeah.
And it would be like, at the end of the game, it'd be like, how many points do you think Ice had? I don't know, 28? And it'd be like, no, I had 41. What? I watched the whole game. You had 41? Because it was you never had a heat check moment. You just got your points. As you said, good shots 16-footers.
Shot selection is the key. And, you know, I shot 51% career. So, you know, I believed in taking good shots. You know, I had the green light, so I could shoot whenever I want to. So I ain't really have to take too many bad shots. You know, so it makes. So
the 63-point game was your heat check game?
Yeah, because I missed my first 6 shots.
You missed your first 6 shots and you still had 63?
And called timeout and said, man, you know, we ain't got to worry about it. And all my guys kept saying, oh, no, come on, Ace, come on. You know, then all of a sudden, man, it was like Casper, the friendly ghost, was guarding me. You know, I was just going through guys.
So I forgot to mention this. The amazing thing about that day is there's no videotape whatsoever.
No.
Because we wanted to do a 30 for 30 short on the final day of that season.
Oh, wow.
And I called my friend, the NBA. I was like, I got a great idea. We're going to do Gervin and Thompson and that duel, and we'll interview them. And they're like, there's no footage whatsoever. There were no cameras. Nobody videotaped the game.
Something, man. Big part of history, man.
Doesn't exist. The greatest scoring day in the history of the NBA does not exist.
Well, you know, the beautiful thing about it, Bill, we're still talking about it. And guys like yourself won't let it die.
Well, this one hurts, though. It's hard to believe that it wasn't even televised, like, locally.
Yeah, well.
Like, think about that. Think the NBA now, it's like you can't do anything now in an NBA game that's not on YouTube in 7 minutes.
Well, I mean, you know, it's what they call a day and a time. You know, I mean, now you got cameras everywhere. And back then when we played, it's almost like the cameras didn't work.
Best guy from your era?
Dr. J.
Dr. J? Over Kareem?
Well, I'm a little biased.
So you're trending toward ABA a little bit because that's your ABA dude.
Yeah, but greatest of all time to me, you know, because that's who I played against is Kareem. You know, his dominance, his accuracy, you know, was almost next to none. You know, so.
So if you're starting a team with guys from your era and you have to win a 2-hour game, Kareem's your first pick?
Yes.
Because skyhook.
Yes.
Nobody can stop it.
Because percentage.
Yeah.
We know if we throw it down there, we're going to get a high percentage of points.
And that helps you because now they have to trickle down.
They got to double down to him.
Now you get to enjoy
then,
George Gervin things.
Then I have a Magic at the point. You know, then I have me at the 2. You know, and then I have Doc at the 3. Then I have Moses at the 4.
Oh, young Moses?
Young Moses.
Early Moses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a team. Let me think about this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a hard team to beat. I mean, you know.
So crunch time, it's either you or Kareem, depending on how they defend Kareem.
Or Doc, I mean, you know.
You have Doc doing this with Magic.
Slashing.
And you're doing this too.
Right.
And then Moses just gets every rebound.
Right. And throw it back up and go back and get it again. Throw it back up, go get it again.
Moses ABA guy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Moses story? Everyone has one.
Well, 4-4-4-4.
You never played with him though?
No. He played in San Antonio his last years, but I never played with him. You know, he was a young kid in Petersburg, Virginia when I was with the Squires.
Right.
So I knew him then. Smokey Gaines, who was out of Detroit, former Globetrotter, introduced me to him because they was trying to get him to go to University of Detroit.
Oh.
So that's how I met him, you know, as a young man. So, you know, then go to college and had an unbelievable career. You know, when you start talking about double-doubles, you know, you talk about Kevin Love and all them, you can't talk about double-doubles unless you talk about Moses Malone.
Young Moses was ridiculous.
Oh, man.
He get 5 rebounds in the same possession.
Same possession, that's right, man.
On the backboard.
That's right, man.
So you're at San Antonio in the ABA and you're playing the St. Louis Spirits.
Oh, wow.
The Spirits of St. Louis. And they got Barnes, they got Moses, Mo Lucas, Fly Williams.
Yeah, George Adams.
Half of those guys are crazy.
Oh, man, I seen Adams hit Swin Nader. You know how big Swin Nader is.
He was like 7'2".
I seen him hit Swin Nader so hard, and Swin hit the ground and slid 15 feet. Like, you know, like just sliding, you know, sitting up like this, sliding. And they just called a foul and a tech. And everybody kept playing.
Get up, Swin.
Oh, get up.
Yeah, come on, man.
Get up and don't let him hit you like that no more, man.
You guys had some good fights in the ABA.
Yeah, well.
You never played with John Brisker, did you?
No, but I know John because John from Detroit.
All-time crazy guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he had a history.
Yeah.
He had a history of don't mess with him.
Right, he was the one like don't look cross-eyed.
Warren Jabali was like that too. Don't mess with him. You know, whatever he do to you, just look it on off and keep moving.
I forget which one was it Warren Jabali or John Brisker who was scarier?
Yeah. Put him in the room, man.
Maybe that's it. One
if
guy
you put him in the
out.
room, no, neither one of them come out. That's how they was.
Nobody ever comes
out. Nobody ever
room.
come out. We had to go in there and say, wow.
They fight to the death.
They fight to the death.
Oh. Hey, I see. It's such a shame that none of these games are on videotape, basically.
Yeah, well.
I mean, how many Spurs games from that era are even like, were you on TV, national TV, like 5 times?
Well, you know, we caught the beginning of ESPN. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was just kind of coming in when I retired. I retired in '86.
Right. You were in the NBA.
Yeah, you know, so.
The slam dunk contest was on that's tape. They have that clip sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you know, because I was in first.
Yeah.
You know, in Denver.
Right.
You know.
Doc dunks from the foul line.
Oh, yeah.
Although he was like half a foot over the
line. Yeah,
well, but I like that the legend became the foul.
Right. I mean, they're going to, you know how we spin it. Doc dunked did Michael dunk from the foul line or did he step over too?
I don't know if anyone's ever actually done it behind the line.
It's kind of hard.
It's like you have to step on that. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean,
16
come
feet.
On, man. You got to do like them Chinese movies, man. Have that thing hooked up on your back.
So you played with Jordan as a first 2 years?
His second year.
Second year.
Yeah. I played.
Were you on the bench for the 63-point game?
Yeah.
You played a couple minutes
when
in that
it was
game,
in Chicago.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I stayed on the bench that long. I mean, he gonna get 63, but let me, passing the ball a couple of times.
Right. So did you know? Because you played with young Doc and then you played with young Michael.
I started with Mike. I started with Dr. J and I finished with Michael.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, good for them too.
Yeah, well, I know.
But did you know with Michael?
Doc probably appreciated me a lot more than Michael, because I was old on my way out, and Michael was coming in and really trying to show his presence, and he probably looked at me a little different. He always called me, "Hey, old man." I said, "Well, you gonna get there one day, hopefully."
And then on the Wizards, he became the old man.
Come on, sit down, man. You one of the greatest to ever do it, man. What you doing, man? Take that number off.
How did you end up on the Bulls? I forget.
Got traded from San Antonio for, what's that brother's name, man?
So that had to hurt. The Spurs trading you? I mean, I know you're on great terms with them now, but
I mean, it was the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was time to go. David Greenwood. They traded me for David Greenwood.
He was good.
Yeah, David wasn't bad.
Did you ever think about doing a year with the Pistons or no? Playing 1 year at home?
That's all I wanted to play for was the Pistons. Being from Detroit.
Yeah.
But when I got out of school, they wasn't accepting hardships.
Right.
So I couldn't. It was no other place for me but the ABA.
How did you, that Nike poster?
Went back in the early 80s.
You're holding 2 ice cubes.
Yeah. When it becomes
a classic.
Oh, man, that's...
Were those...
Never knew it was going to be as popular as it was.
So was it popular at the time?
Wow.
Or did it become one of those things that not a lot of people had it and then it became popular?
Well, I think a lot of people had it, and as the years went by and they stopped making them, then all people talked about is, man, I grew up watching you every morning, and I was saying, oh, yeah. I mean, then talking about your Iceman poster.
Right.
I said, oh, yeah, man, that's pretty neat, man. And even to the day, I still sign them. People want them.
I remember being on eBay in like 2006, 2007 when eBay, earlier, whenever eBay started, 2000, 2001, maybe 2000. And looking for those Nike posters, and yours came up. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to get this. Put in like the $17 bid. In the last minute, all of a sudden, it went up to like $80. I'm like, oh, what happened? Next time it comes up, same thing. And then it became clear that people wanted the ice posters.
I mean, it's...
By the way, I did get one.
Oh, yeah.
And then you sent me another one that we have in our studio.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Appreciate you wanting one.
Oh, my God. It's an iconic poster.
Yeah, well, people still talk about it. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean,
and were you in that boardroom one? No, I don't think you were in that one.
No, I wasn't.
But you were in the jam session one.
I think I was in the jam session. And,
my favorite poster of all time.
And then Supreme Court.
I've always wondered about jam session, because this is poster got taken, I'm going to say 1979, 1980. Really fun time for the NBA. A lot of partying going on back then. Guys doing their thing. You guys are all like in LA, obviously. They put all the great players together. I feel like there were stories from that night.
Not to be told.
Not to be told? Okay. But there were stories.
Well,
at some point you finish that
If you look on that poster and see who's on there.
There's some stories?
You know there's some stories.
Maybe that'll be the 30 for 30 we do.
Hey, but
what happened the night of the jam session poster, photo shoot?
I got to look at it and see, a lot of us, that's a long time ago. A lot of us, might not be here, but the memories.
Who do you think, because, some guys from that era, partying, whatever, knee injuries, other than James Salas, who we discussed, who's the guy that you feel like, man, if that guy had just been in a different era, everybody would be talking about him?
You know, man, this guy I talk about, man, went to Michigan State, man. I don't know if you know him. His name is Terry Furlow.
Yeah.
Man.
He died.
Yeah, he died.
He died. He was on the Hawks.
Yeah, man. Talking about a guy, man, that can just flat out shoot the basketball. I mean, shoot the basketball off the dribble. You know, in which we don't. If you can shoot the ball off the dribble in today's basketball, you're a superstar. Everybody can shoot it off the dribble.
Right.
Back in our era, he was special, man. You know, unfortunately, and you know the tragedy.
The demons.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they out there, man. That's part of the demon's job, and it's unfortunate, you know. But I used to tell him, I said, man, you might lead this league in scoring, man, for a long time. The way you can shoot the ball with the consistency and the percentage he shot it with. So that I like to bring his name up, you know, when you talk about somebody that I admired and he was young and his potential was scary.
I know John Drew, like just looking at his stats.
Wow.
He had 1 year where he was like 26 minutes a game, but scored 21 a game or something. Like he was one of the all-time heat check guys.
Man, I mean, he could flat out score, man, John Drew. He was more of a scorer than a shooter.
Right.
You know, Terry Fuller was a shooter and a scorer, you know, which there is a difference, you know. But John, you know, he was like a small Moses in a way where he could throw it up, go back and get it, you know, because he was so quick. And he shot a lot of free throws, you know, kind of like Adrian Dantley.
Right.
You know, was for Adrian Dantley's size, man, he was special. You know, he beat me. When I won it 3 years in a row, he won it that next year. And he was, what, 6'5"?
Yeah.
He was 6'5", man.
Get to the free throw line 12 times a game.
And didn't miss.
Right.
You know, so man, we had some guys, man, that.
Michael Ray,
man. Williams. Michael Ray and Ray Williams played the point in New York.
Big physical background.
Man, talk stuff. You know, Michael was stuttering, but you know,
He's just talking some
he was talking stuff stuttering, but you know, you can understand him, but you know, we know he talking stuff.
Right. we know stuff's being said.
You know, got funny, man. Mike, he was unbelievable, though.
Was there anybody in the league at that time? I mean, nobody could shut you down, but was there anybody where you're like, this guy, at least I'm going to have to work for my 32 tonight?
Dennis Johnson.
Dennis Johnson.
And, you know, you ask most scorers that played against Dennis, they'll say Dennis, I bet you.
Well, that's my dude.
Hey, man.
We won the 84 and 86 titles with him.
Hey, man. Dennis knew how to play defense, man. You know, Dennis didn't leave his feet. You know, Dennis didn't go for fakes.
Right.
You know, I mean, he can move his feet well. I mean, he understood how to guard you. You know, it's almost like he just sat around and just watched you play, and then when he played you, you know, he studied you. And, yeah, I got hard 30s on him.
But you still got the 30.
Well,
you just had to work a little harder.
Yeah. You know, I mean, most of the guards back then, you know, was, I ain't gonna say scared of me, but they hate that I was coming into town.
I would say they were scared of you.
Well, I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, but nobody wants to have 55 dropped on them.
Well, I wanted to drop 55.
You were gonna drop the 55.
I had no problem doing that, you know.
This is a really important question. I worry that all NBA players play the same way and shoot the same way, and it's almost like they come off an assembly line. I think a lot of it has to do with AAU and the fact they're in these camps from age 10. Everybody's teaching them to shoot the right way and do things a certain way, and the three-point line. You look at the guys from your era, we just mentioned a couple, like Dantley, this has never been replicated. All the things you did, there's never been anyone like you. Jamal Wilkes shooting, you know, like that, and you go on down the line, and all these different guys from your era were distinct because they learned to play whatever experiences they had shaped their games. And now it's like everybody kind of looks alike. I mean, does that bother you? You notice that?
Well, I mean, I ain't really got much to do with it now. I mean, you know, for me, they don't know how to teach the game, and they go away from the fundamentals. You know, what made me the player that I was fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so if I'm fundamentally sound, I got a strong foundation, then I can add stuff on to my game. What I see today with these kids, they're not fundamentally sound. You know, I mean, they caught up and, you know, go what we show all the time. We show dunks all the time, you know.
3-point shots.
Yeah, you know, we show the entertainment part. But they don't realize the entertainment part is being consistent. You know, is being able to, you know, score at ease, being able to go to the basket left hand and be able to use your left hand, you know, go right hand. Understanding how to stay on balance, you know, because, you know, if you go to the basket, somebody else coming at you to try to stop you. So you got to learn how to fall. They're not teaching that, you know. You got a lot of great college coaches and good high school coaches, but they don't know how to teach you how to score. You know, they can teach you how to play. They can tell you about the X's and O's, but they don't know how to teach you how to have good footwork. I'm still a student of the game. I see more guys on the wrong foot in this game today is scary. You know, that's why you have so many injuries.
Yeah.
See, because if you jump off balance, you're going to fall off balance. So you can't, you know, you can't block your fall.
That's an interesting injury explanation. I never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're on balance and somebody hits you, you fall on balance.
Right.
So you can keep yourself from tearing up something.
And we should mention that, you never really had a major injury,
no,
right?
No, man. I mean, I was fundamentally sound, man. I mean, I'm from that school. You know, my son, George Jr., you know, played for University of Houston. He's fundamentally sound.
Right.
You know, I mean, and that's from the teaching early on. And when you say AAU and all that, they're exploiting our babies. You know, you ain't putting them on a solid foundation for them to grow. I mean, you know, the AAU got a history of exploiting. You know, and which is.
So what happens to 1967 Ice if he got put in a time machine and transported to 2013?
What would I do?
Yeah, I mean, so you're now going through that whole AAU circuit. They're probably telling you, like, don't shoot that finger roll. That's stupid.
Well, it all depends who was telling me.
You got to shoot more threes.
Yeah,
like knock some of that stuff out of your game,
yeah,
right?
no, man. I mean, I go back, man. I would teach. I mean, I would want nothing but to learn the fundamentals. A good, solid foundation. You know, with a good, solid foundation, again, I said you can grow.
Right.
You know, but you don't have a good, solid foundation. Most of the guys today don't have good, solid foundation, mean skill-wise. I was skillful. You know, I mean, I was like, going to a trade school. You know, where, how you go get your plumbing, your electrician. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
You know, I was going, and that was my trade. So, you know, I wanted to be fundamentally sound so I can get jobs. You know, so that's what made me. And to see it today not being exploited, you know, it make me sad because I know that's what's going to make a young person better if he got a good, solid foundation.
What current star would have fit in the best in the 1974-75 ABA season?
What current
player?
Oh,
Durant,
LeBron James could play in any era.
Would he fit in, though, with the whole ABA mystique and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
What about Durant?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Durant.
Is Durant the one you feel the most kinship with right now?
Yeah.
The modern guys?
Yeah.
Because he's kind of like a lot of.
Well, I mean, everybody,
Gervin.
everybody try to compare him to me. And the reason I say compare him to me because I'm the oldest.
No, that's not the only reason.
But
Because you were.
Well, I mean, I had my own style, you know. I mean, what really makes us have similarity is his size. He's slim.
Size
but
slim.
he's 6'11".
Right.
You know, and put it on the floor. Shoot over anybody. You know, I mean, he don't have the.
No.
That I had. I mean, you know, and I don't have some of the things that he have.
But I think he has pieces of you in his game.
Well,
I would say. And pieces of, I think there's a little T-Mac in there. Like, there's different guys. But I would say there's the most of your DNA in his game.
He's definitely my favorite.
And he's also, like you, one of those guys that you're watching and you don't realize he has 35 points.
Right.
You're like, Durant has 35?
Man, he could just shoot it, man. He shoot it so deep and so effortless. You know, now he's starting to, you know, put it on the floor and shoot that mid-range jumper and, you know, starting to go to the hole. I mean, his future, man, is scary.
So who's
he MVP to me right now.
I agree. Who's your favorite player to see in person? LeBron?
The guy that's hurt, Kobe.
Kobe is your favorite?
Come on, man.
Interesting.
Kobe will go 5 for 25. He ain't scared to shoot.
Right.
But if the game is tied, he'll be 6 for 26 and beat you.
Right. That's
unbelievable. His drive, and I ain't talking about drive to the hole.
Right.
Is
termination drive.
Man, he is a Terminator.
You think every year people count the Spurs out?
Yeah, that's funny.
It's over. Now this is done. They're too old.
It's funny, ain't it? Though?
I've done it a few times. Well, I'm tired of getting embarrassed by them. So this year I'm just, you know, Oklahoma City's going to be in the Western Finals, and then people are asking, well, who's the other team? Like, I'm just picking San Antonio. I'm tired of.
Man, that's a good pick, Bill.
Why not? Let's see them not do it one year before. You know what I mean?
I mean, like again, I go back to they don't get the credit I think they deserve.
No.
As a franchise. I mean, and if you know anything about San Antonio and its franchise, it's special. You know, I'm still part of the franchise, and I ain't saying that because, you know, Peter Hope take care of me. I'm saying that because I've been around that franchise for 40 years. They don't know how to do nothing but win.
They've done a nice job of just kind of keeping you involved, which I think some teams, the Celtics are really good at that with their ex-players. Some teams don't embrace the history and realize how important it is and how it ties into the different generations. And I think it's cool how.
No, they
how
make
you're
me,
involved with
they
that
make
team.
me feel like I still play.
Right.
And the fans.
Which is how they should do
man,
it, though.
I mean, I do not take that for granted, man. I truly appreciate that, man. I mean, because I am a big part of their history, and they let me know that they appreciate it. I mean, I think more franchises should do that. I mean, history, everything, man. I mean, that's what I think. I'm in education. You know, I have charter schools. You know, and that's what I talk about. You know, and when I talk to young people, is to understand your history. You know, where you can kind of know where you're going, man. You know, and that's what San Antonio does for me.
Last question. So, you go on a basketball court right now.
I don't know why.
Let's say we walked out right now. Can you still make the 18-footer routinely? Is it still in there?
12-footer.
12-footer?
I can make 12-footer quite consistent.
Consistently?
Why I want to shoot 18 when I know I can make 12? It don't make sense. You know what I mean? I practice to make. I don't practice to miss. I'm going to miss more from 18 than I will from 12. I'm going to make a lot of them from 12-foot.
What about the finger roll? Is that gone, or can you still bring it out?
No, it's a jelly roll now.
It's a jelly roll now?
Ain't no finger roll no more.
George Gervin, it was a pleasure. Sunday I'm going to get the jam session photo shoot 30 for 30 going. So we're going to need your stories.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back from New Orleans with more legends, more All-Stars. We're here for the next 48 hours. Grantland Channel, check it out.
Why did Grantland pick a British woman? Your guess is as good as mine. Subscribe. Are you in love with me yet? Are you?